Welcome to the No New Friends podcast, the podcast for adults who like to laugh at adulting. We are so excited for you to start your No New Friends podcast journey. Now, in the first 20 episodes, we've got old microphones that we kind of pieced together. So our audio is a little bit rough for the first 20 or so episodes. But there are some classic episodes in that first 20 that we reference all throughout our future episodes of the No New Friends podcast. So just bear with us on that audio. I apologize. But it gets better. We get brand new microphones right around episode 20 or so. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the No New Friends podcast.
And now it's time for the No New Friends podcast with Scott and Mary.
Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That's right. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. I'm your host, Scott. With me, as always, my co-host, Mary.
Hey.
You know where we can be heard. We can be heard on Spotify, iHeart, Google, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can email us, No New Friends Podcast at yahoo.com. Facebook us, message us, follow us, share us, everything at No New Friends Podcast. We're also on Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast. Also, very important, please go to orlandoweekly.com. Go to their Best of Orlando competition, and under the category local color, find best local podcast and just type in No New Friends podcast and hit vote. We'd really love to be nominated. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel. One segment per episode will appear on our YouTube channel, and then other shenanigans as well. I'm exhausted.
You forgot to
today.
mention
What did I miss?
For a small fee, we will come gab and talk and argue in person. Like we'll just come to your house.
Why not? We'll do remote podcast and look, you show us the money. We'll do it at your business. We'll do it at your pool. Whatever you want.
See, I didn't even mean that. I meant like we'll just come hang out with you and yell at each other for $5.
Yeah,
or for a White Claw. I don't know.
we appeared on Remy's Roundtable. Remy was our guest on Tuesday's show, and then they had us on their show. I'm a little bit confused because I thought it was the Diz His podcast, but it really wasn't. He kind of guest hosts on the Diz His podcast, but it's under Remy's Roundtable. Very confused by the whole thing, but the episode is on Spotify and Remy's Roundtable. So we were invited to be on their episode, and it was pretty much the No New Friends podcast on Remy's Roundtable with some additional
Remy
characters.
And friends, I am so sorry that we took that train right off its rails, but we had a great time.
We had a
really great time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I want to have some of those guys on our show, and I know that they've given us an open invitation. They want us on there every Tuesday now because look, it was fun, and I was like, well, maybe I'll do it, maybe Mary will do it, and then every once in a while we'll do it together. I think it has to be together because separate we lose our powers. We're like the Wonder Twins. Like Wonder Twins unite or whatever they say, and then they pound their fist.
The only thing I can think of is the ambiguously gay duo. I don't know why that's the first thing
Saturday Night. Wow, that's going throwback. That's like the '90s, the ambiguously gay duo with what were their names?
I don't even remember. But I remember when they flew, like one was the other one's back.
Oh, it was like Gary and Archie or something like that.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up.
The ambiguously gay duo.
Why are you so exhausted? Was it just from saying that spiel, or have you been doing a lot?
Yeah. So I'm in between things that I want to watch and binge. I've finished rewatching the Marvel series, and I started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I like it, but I'm not hooked. So I've gone back and I'm rewatching How I Met Your Mother, which is one of my favorite shows. And I was so disappointed by that ending. I swore I would never watch that show again. But now, first of all, it still makes me laugh. It still holds up. And now because I know the ending and seeing the story build, I can appreciate the ending much more now. So
that's good, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And I'm watching, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen How I Met Your Mother, I'm watching the development of the relationship between Ted and Robin. And I'm like, okay, now the ending completely makes sense, and I'm okay with it. I mean, in the context of the first time you're seeing it, and it's all about the mother, and the mother dies, and then this whole thing was he just goes back to Robin. I'm like, they could have finish this in 3 seasons.
Well, but where's the fun in that? I'm not going back and forth between anything. It's just all Game of Thrones for me.
Yes,
right now.
I'm excited. We are going to
breathing.
Yes, so we are going to do a weekly thing now where Mary just started watching Game of Thrones this week. She just finished season 1, episode 9. Spoiler alert.
No, guys, I am on season 2, episode 1 now.
So she's
because
on
I have
season
no
2.
life.
Right. She's on season 2. So what I want Mary to kind of give us a recap of what she has seen, because we all know what happens, and it'll be interesting to kind of hear a newbie's perspective on everything that's going on right now, who she likes, who she thinks is the most important, what storylines she doesn't think is great, and then to see it kind of evolve, because there's so much there.
I think what is better is my text to you when I'm watching it, because I get so outraged or so excited. And I'm like, oh my God, there's dragons.
Yeah. So Mary and I are going to watch season 3, episode 9 together. And if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know what happens in season 3, episode 9.
I almost want to Google it.
No, please don't, because no, you cannot. Because it'll ruin the reaction. But I want to record you during.
No, why?
Because you'll
let me
see.
React in peace. Okay.
No.
Well,
this is for our audience. Look, I love watching a television show or a movie twice. 1, the first time, and then 2, when I love watching it when I'm introducing someone to it for the first time to see their reactions. And in Game of Thrones season 3, episode 9, that is the episode that that's like your point of no return. If you're not hooked by season 3, episode 9, you're never going to be hooked.
Well, I mean, I think I'm already hooked.
Yeah, you're good. You're gonna freaking love it. So give us your recap of season 1.
Okay, so my recap is that I really don't like the Lannisters, obviously, except for the little one. I like him a lot. Tyrion. I like him a lot.
Yeah, played by Peter Dinklage.
Yes, I'm trying to choose my words wisely, because the words I want to say, we cannot say on this podcast because it's a classy podcast. But screw that little blonde inbred baby. I hate Prince Joffrey so much, loathe entirely.
Yeah, he's
enemy
the
of
worst.
the state. Enemy number 1.
Played by Jack Gleason. Now, you haven't even hit the worst of him. Things got so bad for the actor that he received death threats and has left acting because he played this hated character.
Well, look, that's what you signed up for, and frankly, you deserve it. Just kidding.
Wow.
I'm really sad for the Khaleesi, the mother of dragons. I felt very sad. I was upset. I was initially not happy with that arranged marriage, obviously.
You didn't like her being arranged to Jason Momoa?
I would like to be arranged.
Aquaman.
No, but initially I didn't. But then they actually cared about each other, and it was a thing. And then he died.
Yeah.
But then there were dragons.
Yes.
It's just a lot for me. It's a lot to unpack. I laugh, I cry. I threw my Doritos 3D bag because I was so angry at one point, and we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. I'm pretty sure the White Walkers are coming.
Well, winter is coming. That's
shit's about to go down. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a thing right now, but I am looking forward to my binge sesh today.
So what do you think of the Ned Stark beheading? I mean, Sean Bean is such a huge actor.
Talk about it.
I can't believe he was only in it for 1 season.
I haven't healed from that yet. I feel like my head is also on a spike. It's devastating. And then he made her stare at it.
Yeah.
He's like, look into your dead father's eyes.
Yeah,
and
he's the
she's
worst.
Like, how long do I have to look for? And he's like, as long as it pleases me, bitch. And you could see she wanted to push him off of that bridge too.
Yeah.
And I was like, do it.
Yeah.
But then she got smacked around a little. So
and what do you think about Sansa at this point?
I don't know. I think that she is trying to be strategic, but we just don't see that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't like that she's like so willing to be like, okay, yeah, beat the shit out of me. I'm still going to marry you and have your berbers. But I think she's obviously doing it for a reason. I would hope so. And something outside of self-preservation, I hope.
First couple seasons, she was my least favorite character. And
I'm not a fan, but it's I'm holding out hope that she'll do great things one day.
Gotcha. Who's your favorite? Obviously, your least favorite is Joffrey. Who's your favorite character?
I do like Sam, the fat guy at the wall.
Oh, yeah, Sam.
Jon Snow's little partner.
Yep.
He's funny to me. Probably the Mother of Dragons. She's my favorite so far.
Daenerys Targaryen. Good.
Her name it rhymes too much, so I don't like to say it. It's too catchy.
Just wait. Like every kind of storyline that she follows, she gets a new name. Like
what?
It's Daenerys, Mother of Dragons right now, but then it's Daenerys, Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Chains, Eater of Bread, a Drinker of Wine. Like it's this whole thing.
Wait, so could I be like?
Yes, Mary, Drinker of Mimosas,
Mother of Wild,
Mother of the Wildlings.
Yeah. Yes.
Mary, Mother of the Wildlings, Drinker of Mimosas.
Correct. I feel like
Taker of Naps.
No, I don't take naps. You know that, Eater of Dino Nugs. This really is. I feel like we're onto something.
That's great. We need to come up with something, and that'll be your introduction from that right now.
Oh man.
Well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I was late to the party as well. It actually just showed up in my Facebook memories. I started it 2 years ago today. So the time period was season 8 had just begun, and Rachel had seen everything up to season 8 and read all the books. And I had tried watching it one time, and I couldn't get through the first episode. I was like, nah, this is not me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go down this realms and medieval time and all that. I just don't want to do it. So it was such a pop culture phenomenon, especially during season 8, and everybody at work was talking about it because it had been like 2 years since they had done a season. So I was like, man, I feel like in order to have educated conversation, I'm going to probably have to watch this. So I made a deal with Rachel. I said, you know what? Don't watch season 8 without me. Let me get through the first 7 seasons, and then we'll watch season 8 together. And I caught up with season 8 after the 3rd or 4th episode had released on HBO, and then kind of watched them. And then we were 2 weeks late on the finale. So I absolutely loved the show. Because you're watching it, I tried to start watching it again, but there's just so much that goes on, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go down this road again, because I mean it's so good. But
also, I don't know if I can rewatch it. I don't know if I can go through that pain again.
Well, and the thing that's fun about stuff like this is knowing what the outcomes are on certain storylines, going back and rewatching it and seeing like how they get there and the transition, and were there things that were obvious that were going to happen, and then other character arches, so it's fun to see them at one point of the arch when you know that they're going somewhere completely different. And I'm
excited to get there eventually.
And I'm not going to tell you shit. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I'll give you little things to look forward to. If you hate Joffrey, there is a character that you're going to hate even more, and that's going to come several seasons from now. You'll know when he's there. Oh, you'll know when he's there.
There's a lot of hate in my heart right now.
Like there's an actual meme with Joffrey, and it says I'm the most hated character, and then this other one is holding a beer, and he says hold my beer, because he's the worst. He's the worst.
Wow. I need to stay away from anything on the internet about Game of Thrones because I don't want it to be wrecked.
Yeah, that's the good thing about waiting so long to watch it, is you're not going to stumble upon any. I mean, you may stumble across a meme or something here and there, but for the most part, like, people are done with Game of Thrones, they're on to something else. So
yeah.
All right, so look forward to that every week. Mary's going to give us so on like the Thursday show, Mary's going to kind of give us a recap of what she has seen and what's going on, so that we can enjoy her journey as we enjoyed our journey and she's enjoying hers.
I feel like we're on this journey together, everyone.
We are on this journey together. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back. No New Friends podcast is now using Nikki Podcast Preparations Incorporated, which is a podcast management consultant agency of services that helps independent podcasts obtain more plays, downloads, guests, sponsors, and a bunch of the legwork behind the microphone when it comes to podcasting. CEO Nick can be contacted via Twitter or Instagram at NikkiKeepyINC. And if you tell him that the No New Friends podcast sent you, we'll both get a 25% discount. Nikki has helped accumulate millions upon millions of downloads, tens of thousands of dollars in sponsorships, celebrity guests, and much more. So just shoot him a direct message to get your podcast growing. At this time, the No New Friends podcast would like to thank one of our supporters, Chris Kelleher. Thank you for being a supporter of the No New Friends podcast. You too can be a supporter. It's very simple. All you have to do is click on the link in the episode description, and you too, for as low as 99 cents per month, can support the No New Friends podcast. What this does is goes towards new equipment, marketing, and other operating expenses. Support today, and again, thank you, Chris Kelleher.
Hey, this is Craig Brooks with Tasty Trivia, and you're listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast with your hosts, Scott and Mary. Please make sure you email us, nonewfriendspodcast@yahoo.com. We're on Facebook at No New Friends Podcast. Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast. And then make sure you go to Orlando Weekly and nominate us for Best Local Podcast under the category Best Local Color. Please like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast. And now we're like worldwide now. We're in the United States, obviously. We've got listeners in Puerto Rico, Spain, India, and now Canada. So that's exciting. One of the listeners in India actually emailed me today and asked me if I was looking to extend my car warranty.
Oh my! I can't. You are the worst.
I am.
You are the worst
human in the world.
All
right, it's time for some strange news.
Good. Redeem yourself now.
So I've got a couple news stories. Most of them are in Florida. This first one is not. This first one's Poland. So this
that's not somewhere you hear a lot of things.
No,
from.
You don't hear a lot of stories from Poland, but you do hear a lot of jokes about the Polish.
Yeah. Okay. Well, come on. Just start
like
the
in
story.
Elementary school. A woman called animal control because she had a beast of an animal, or what she thought was a beast of an animal, in a tree in her yard.
I know. I still can't. Continue. I'm sorry.
So Mary knows this story. That's why she's laughing. But it was not an animal. It was a croissant.
I literally will be moved to tears laughing about this, because this is something that could potentially happen to me. I could see this happening to me.
I know, right? There it is. There's the picture, and we'll put it on our Facebook page. There's a croissant in a tree. I want to know what kind of creature they thought it looked like.
I want to zoom in on it.
It looks like a giant cocoon. Like it looks like a giant cocoon. Like there's gonna be a giant butterfly that comes out of there.
It looks like nothing. It looks like someone burnt a croissant and yeeted it out their window.
If you all want to see what we're talking about, this segment's going to be on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And what's funny is it wasn't just her. There were other people that
joined in
yeah, like people don't open their windows because they're afraid it's going to enter their house.
Oh man, it's funny.
He's been sitting out there for 2 days and everyone is scared of him.
Do you think the person who is responsible for the croissant is like, oh shit, I've caused so much problem?
Yeah, I want to know how this croissant got in there.
It looks like, because it doesn't look like it's cooked properly. It's a little overdone. So they probably were like, it's burnt, and threw it out the window, and then it got caught in the tree.
Yeah. So this inspector who calls himself an expert, He assumes it probably got stuck there when some other well-intentioned neighbor attempted to feed the birds in the area.
With a whole croissant? Don't you
I
usually
know,
just
right?
like
Don't you
give them
break it
little
apart?
pieces? Like,
Yeah,
how big are the birds there?
I know, right? Well, I mean, you know how it is when you go to like the beach or the theme parks and the seagull takes an entire hamburger. I mean, that's probably like what happened.
Listen, I have been clapped by a seagull as a child, and he stole my French fries.
Yeah, I mean, imagine you when you're hungry. You're like an angry bird that swoops in and just.
I will swoop
Thanks.
in. I will.
Yeah,
I don't care.
That's a pretty funny story. I know you were really excited about that story.
I was. Here's why, though, just really quickly, because I've also mistaken something that is not an animal for an animal.
See, I've mistaken things that are not food as food.
See, so you can understand. Like, I was running one day, and I have terrible eyesight, and I saw what I thought was a dog, but upon closer inspection, it was like a pole thing for a water filtration system, like just in the middle of an area. But from far away, it looked like a dog. And I was like, oh man, what is he doing alone? There's
Don't
no
wanna pet the
owner
dog.
here.
Yeah.
And so I, speed up. And then I was like, well, Mary, you're an idiot. Just keep running. Don't tell anyone of this story.
That's like, have you ever seen Adventures in Babysitting, that 80s movie with Elizabeth Shue? And,
I remember it, but I don't remember much of it. I've
her
seen
best
it, but
friend
only
was-
like once or twice.
Her best friend's played by Penelope Ann Miller, and she's stranded at like a bus station or whatever, and she picks up what she thinks is a dog, but it's actually a sewer rat because she lost her glasses.
That is exactly what would happen to me.
In other strange news, we're going to stay with animals. This is in Daytona Beach, Florida. A passenger survives being hit in the head by a flying turtle. Like,
Well,
I want to imagine driving down the road and they're street racing, because we have a big street racing problem in Florida, and someone throws a green turtle shell out the back.
It's like, what is this, Mario Kart? Is that what's
exactly?
happening?
That's what the picture that I have in my head. The article says it's not unusual for rocks and other debris to come crashing through a windshield and injure a driver or passenger. But a turtle? 70-year-old woman was riding with her daughter on Florida's Interstate 95, suffered a gashed forehead Wednesday when a turtle smashed through the windshield of their car, striking her, the Daytona Beach News Journal reports. The daughter pulled over and got help from another motorist, according to 911 recording. Both were surprised by what they found. There's a turtle in the car, the man can be overheard saying. A turtle, the daughter exclaimed. An actual turtle. The gash did draw a lot of blood, but the woman was not seriously hurt. Likely the turtle was crossing the interstate and got knocked into the air by another vehicle. Good news, the turtle just had a few scratches and was released in the nearby woods, Port Orange police officer informed us.
Can you imagine that phone call to like the family? Like, Grammy's in the hospital. What happened? She got hit in the freaking face by a turtle. What do you mean? Like, how do you explain that one? Oh,
Just what are the odds? I mean, like, to get hit by anything. Well, we all get our like little stones on our windshield.
Well, but to crash through your windshield,
right? To have something that major happen, right? Exactly.
Oh, Grammy, it was your time to go, and you evaded death.
Yep.
Good for you.
Only in Florida. Staying in Florida. This is in Southwest Ranches, Florida.
Where's that?
I don't know.
Somewhere in the Southwest area?
I don't know. So, Courtney Wilson and Shanita Jones, they were getting married. They invited all their family and friends to their dream home and estate for their weekend wedding celebration. The ceremony Saturday and brunch on Sunday.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, I know, right? I want to go. It was a 16,000 square foot home. There's just one problem. The couple didn't own the home and didn't have permission to use it. So they were wedding crashers at their own wedding.
Wait, whoa, what? So did the owners like
this Fort Lauderdale estate had everything: a bowling alley, swimming pool, waterfall, hot tub, tennis courts, a gazebo, and 800-foot bar. Wilson said it was God's plan that the couple marry there.
Okay, just keep going.
Despite what the invitation inferred, the actual owner, Nathan Finkel, which must be Ray Finkel's nephew.
I was going to say, there must be a relation there.
And is also Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
Finkel
is Einhorn. And then the crying game because he realized he made out with Einhorn. He was stunned when Wilson showed up Saturday morning to set up and he called the police. I've got people trespassing on my property, Finkel told a 911 dispatcher, and they keep harassing me, calling me. They say they're having a wedding here and it's God's message. I don't know what's going on. All I want is for it to stop. And they're sitting on my property at the front gate right now. 2 officers told Wilson he would have to leave. He did, and no charges were filed. I don't want to talk about it, Wilson told the paper. That's like a teenage girl who gets in trouble. I don't want to talk about it.
I know those lines very well.
Right.
I have a few questions.
Okay.
So did they secure like a catering company and things like that? And those people are like en route to go set up?
I would
Just
assume
kidding. We don't have a venue.
I would assume.
But also, how did they figure out it was God's
They thought it was a vacant property.
will?
They thought it was a vacant property because Nathan Finkel lived at another property.
But how does that still equate to God's will if it's a vacant property?
They did try to ask him for permission.
While they were setting up, like while the band was like getting set up.
A couple months earlier, and he said no, but they sent out the wedding invitations anyway.
So they didn't think it was vacant. Oh, sorry, Waffles is mad at me.
Yeah,
that was her. She wants to play fetch, and I don't want to.
Gotcha. Yeah, they sent out the wedding invitations that this was going to be on this property. Finkel, whose late father was an early IHOP restaurant franchisee, has been trying to sell the property for 2 years now, listing it for just over $5 million.
Well, they could have just paid for the house.
Yes, because
comes to fruition.
You're right. If it's God's will, they'll come up with the $5 million.
I'm sure that mortgage is very reasonable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they're a 2-income household now. I mean, it'll be fine.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong.
What else do you have? Anything else?
No, that's it. That's it for strange news today.
I have a little bit of strangeness.
Let's go for it.
Would you like to hear an update on Carline Chronicles?
Yes, let's hear it. Carline Chronicles.
Let's talk about it.
And now it's time for Carline Chronicles with Mary.
Okay, friends, I actually FaceTimed Scott yesterday about this because I was in such shock. Carline has been dry. I mean, dry the past couple of days. I would say almost weeks.
Yeah, Mary had to use
now
lotion.
Now I know why. It was because it was all building up for what happened.
It was backed up.
The Carline gods were just waiting to bless me. And I won't say what school this was at. And I don't know why. Maybe I just want to, I don't know. So I pull in and I thought I saw police lights. It's like, no, that can't be right. And I make the turn and there is a car in Carline with 2 cop cars behind it with their lights on. And so they both are like walking up to the window. And so at this point, I pull up my phone and I'm FaceTiming Scott, but trying to make it not look like I'm aiming the phone that way because 1, you're at a school and you should not be taking pictures of other people without their permission. And I didn't want to be the creepy person.
On the other hand, on CNN the other day, after the Derek Chauvin verdict came out, I don't know if it was President Joe Biden or Vice President Kamala Harris said, when you see a police officer pull someone over, pull out your cell phone and record.
Well,
so
also,
you were doing your civic duty by recording.
I was doing my civic duty by being a gossipy woman. And I'm like I'm like, okay, they're walking to the car, but one's walking away. What's happening? And so I end the call and I was like, well, that was kind of anticlimactic, but then it got good. They escorted the car out of Carline. Like they had them drive through the like grass to exit Carline. So what the hell did they do?
They probably just cut in line. They just cut in line and some Karen called it in.
They would not. No, and you can't cut in this line. But also, who picked up the kid? Like, is the kid still waiting? Like, Mom, you didn't show up. And like, Mommy had to go away for a little bit.
It was probably stranger danger. Someone got a tip.
It was like, yeah, well, and then I was thinking maybe it was like a parent that wasn't supposed to pick up a kid, like trying to.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's from a divorce
domestic situation.
A domestic situation where one parent didn't have permission to pick up the child from school for whatever reason. It happens, and the other parent called it in.
Yeah, I was thinking that, or maybe because there's a school resource officer and then there's usually like a cop parked outside. Maybe they knew that they had a warrant and they've been like watching it, right?
Maybe, yeah.
And then they saw him and they just swooped in.
Or maybe they were smoking weed in the car.
That's okay, right? I don't know.
Were you just going to say it wasn't 420? Because people can smoke weed like any day of the year. It doesn't just have to be on 420.
No, I that's what I'm saying. Also, like people have like medical marijuana cards. Well, I don't know if you're supposed to drive while you're doing that though. I don't know the rules.
So. And yeah, no, I don't.
So I don't know. I don't think that was the case though. I'm going to say I want it to be more exciting.
Okay.
They had a warrant for multiple felonies, I think.
But
so that's Carline
If they had
Chronicles.
a warrant, wouldn't they pull them out of the car and put them in cuffs? Because they're not going to.
Why would they do that in front of a bunch of kids? School was still technically going, and like there was kids on the playground, like right next to Carline. So I don't know. Are they going to go pull your mom out of the car and beat her down with a baton?
I don't know.
In front of little Jimmy, you're like, Mommy, not again.
That was Carline Chronicles. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Okay, let's be friends. Follow the No New Friends podcast on Facebook and Instagram at No New Friends Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our new YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast, where you can get a behind-the-scenes look at our recordings, everyday life, and shenanigans. Okay, bye.
Hi, this is comedian Miguel Colon, and you're listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. You know how to get in contact with us, but I'm going to remind you anyway. No New Friends podcast at yahoo.com. We're on Facebook. Make sure you like, follow, share us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No New Friends podcast. We're on Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast. And as a reminder, please make sure you go on to Orlando Weekly's website, either on Facebook or their website, and under Best Local Color, please nominate us for Best Local Podcast. It would mean the world to us. We are also a finalist on Mainline Media's Best Florida Podcast. So that's super exciting. We may actually win some microphones and headsets, which would be fantastic because our audio is god-awful.
Well, and I wouldn't lose that.
Right, because it'll be big.
And then my earbuds every day.
Yeah, and then all we would need to do is purchase the mixer, and we could start doing remotes. We could.
This is great.
When I mean doing remotes, it's not like a battery-operated sex toy.
I can't with you.
You know.
Would you stop? I want to point out that this is the same pair of earbuds I used in the previous episode.
That's fantastic. So
I'm
this
2 episodes strong.
That's its last episode.
This is the last episode. And then we're all done with these.
We're going to have a ceremony.
We should.
So we don't really talk about it much on this show, but we did talk about it on Remy's Roundtable, which you can hear us on the Who is Peter Frampton episode on Spotify, Remy's Roundtable. But Mary has gone through about 4 sets of earbuds since we've started this podcast. We started in February, late February. So we're on our, second month of doing this?
Yeah.
4 earbuds. Four sets. So they last you about 2 weeks.
Yeah, give or take. I mean, sometimes I go for a good stretch, though.
You have a set at my house, which is really funny.
I do. But I really should just invest in a drawer of them. But it's because I have a preteen who likes to steal my things and has no regard for my needs. So they disappear. And then also, like I said, I'm a giant piece of garbage and I lose things frequently.
You're not a giant piece of garbage. You know, look, I called you oblivious the other day. And
that was very rude.
Get over it. After giving it some thought, it's actually, I think it's part of, and this is in all seriousness, I'm not goofing on you. I think it's part of the ADD where sometimes ADHD. You may miss ADHD. Sorry, where sometimes you may miss things because you're focusing on other things. And I'm not trying to goof on you. I'm being serious. For example, the potato cart literally is always open.
We're gonna bring up the potato cart again,
but you miss
because
it.
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
I love carbs and I love potatoes in all forms, except for potato salad. That's disgusting. Mm-hmm. But I would know if there was a potato close by. Okay. And that cart is not always open.
So this is what our new thing is going to be. Every time that we go together, we're going to make sure we stop by that cart, and I'm going to get a Stella. Okay, you can get a potato, and then if I go with Rachel, I walk by there because we literally, that's part of our rotation. I will snap a picture and send it to you because that cart is literally always open. This is a great listener participation thing. For those of you who are Universal Annual Pass holders, please send us pictures of the cart being open.
If you ever see it closed, when you go.
If you ever see it closed, I want to know the time of day and the day of the week, because the only time it's closed is maybe right at the beginning of the day or right at the end of the day. That's it. I've always seen that cart open.
You know what show you would star in?
Go for it. I don't know.
Throne of Lies. That's what you would star in. Okay. Speaking of Throne of Lies and drama.
So yeah,
something very dramatic happened in your world and mine.
So yeah, we had our annual homeowners association meeting this week. And this was my very first homeowners association meeting ever. So I was super excited about it. And one of our friends was a candidate to be on the board. So that was like the big reason for the meeting, was to vote on the new board members. So that was really exciting. And we get there and we're the first ones there because I thought for some reason that it was further in on the neighborhood and it was going to take us longer to walk there. We had our portable wheelbarrow with two of our chairs and then a cooler of beer and wine. And
proper thing to bring to a meeting. I would agree.
Hell yeah. Well, I asked when they announced it, I responded. I said, asking for a friend, is beer allowed? And then someone said, yeah, just solo cups. So I did the solo cup, and then people made fun of me for the solo cup. They're like, just drink the goddamn beer. Like, who cares?
I was trying to follow the rules outlined by the HOA. Okay.
Like,
I don't want a fine on my door tomorrow.
Right. They were like, he was kidding. This other property owner shows up and she's like, yeah, I'm here for the vote on the policing. And I'm like, I wasn't aware that there was a vote on policing, but what are you talking about? She's like,
I'm here for it. I'm ready.
They said that they're going to have officers in the neighborhood that are going to start issuing speeding tickets. And I'm like, oh, well, then I'm here for that vote too, because I love that idea. People it's like the Indy 500 through this neighborhood. And she's like, no, I don't want that, because then they're going to cite us for parking the wrong direction on the street, or expired tags, or running a stop sign. And I was like, well, if you don't do those things, then
you won't be
you don't have anything to worry about. This is for children's safety. What's wrong with you? So there was several things that were being discussed. One of them is there's going to be a vote on the ability to govern short-term leasing. And it's mostly as it relates to like Airbnbs and all that. Right now, we don't have any verbiage in our documentation that.
Is there a high demand for Airbnbs in Winter Garden though?
Well, it's so close. It's so close to Disney Universal.
Yeah,
and I mean, you could put 11 people in these houses. I mean, these houses are huge, and we don't want that. We don't want Airbnbs in here. They're like, we're okay with the long-term leasing, 7 months or more, and right now the state governs it. So I don't remember, but we wanted to put some wording in the contract that prohibits short-term leasing. And again, same woman like loses her mind, and she's like, I don't understand that. What about 6-month leases? And like, no, it's 7 months or more. Like, we don't want.
Is she planning on leasing her home?
Well,
and driving very quickly after she does it? Like,
I think that she does lease her home, and there's and it's one of the problem houses in our neighborhood.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of part of the issue, but I'm not sure. So then we're doing the meeting and all that, and someone says, I'd like to see the financials. I'd like to see the financials of the association fees and all that. I want to know where my money's going. And they're like, well, yeah, every year we send you a card. You fill the card out, send it back to us. We provide the financials for you. Like, we're very transparent. And then someone else is like, hey, why don't we have a website for our neighborhood? And they're like, yeah, we've had one for 10 years. I'm like,
oh God.
And then
hey, why can I get that website?
Look, this is why I don't raise my hand in these things, because I'm new to it. I haven't done the research, and I don't want to come across as an idiot by saying, hey, why don't we have a Facebook group?
You asked about the beer, so too late. I don't know.
No, look, the things that I ask on the Facebook group are brilliant. When's the ice cream truck coming? Did I just hear the ice cream truck? Is beer allowed at the HOA meeting? And someone let me know if they see the ice cream truck. Those are the things
So they think that they're living next to Homer Simpson is what it sounds like.
I've become a little bit of a celebrity in my neighborhood.
I
Like
can't,
they know
I
I
am
am
not
the ice cream
entertaining
truck guy.
this. I'm not
When we meet
entertaining
new
this.
neighbors, because we've only been here for a year and a half, and a majority of the time we've been here was during a worldwide pandemic, so we haven't met a lot of neighbors. So when we do meet someone, my wife always says, "Yeah, he's the ice cream truck guy." I'm like, "Oh my god, you're so funny!" And I'm like, "Yeah, check out my podcast, No New Friends Podcast at
Oh my
yahoo.com."
God. I don't even know what to do with this information right
Yeah,
now.
but I don't speak up at HOA meetings because I don't want to be one of those people that now get made fun of on a podcast.
That's true. Anything else exciting happen?
No, but our Facebook group is so funny. People will bitch about the dumbest things. Like a lot of people complain about speeding, and they should.
Right.
But then you also get, I guess there's someone in our neighborhood that's like getting out and yelling at kids who are speeding in the neighborhood. It's like, and we don't know who it is, or some people may know who it is. So you have half the people complaining about that. Now half the people complaining about having police officers in the neighborhood. And I'm like,
Look,
Jesus.
but yelling at cars for going too fast is very ineffective. Just start throwing turtles at the windshields. I feel like
Right?
the message would get across if they took one to the face. Okay, so I have a little bit of drama to share.
Okay.
I have a very big challenge with scrolling by things that I strongly don't agree with.
Okay.
And
You're talking
I've
about on
gotten
like
better
Facebook.
on Facebook, specifically on Facebook, because I
Okay.
feel like that's where a lot of people feel very comfortable to say things that are dumb. And I have a wide variety of people within my friends list, and I use the word friend very loosely. Obviously, no new
Yeah, they
friends.
should call it. It should be just called the acquaintance list. Or
Yeah, well,
connections
I think
or
that
something.
no, I think connections is good. I think that you should be able to categorize them. Like you could be like, yeah, like this is my friend, so I want to see all of their posts. But this person, like, well, I just know him from high school and would never say hi to him in a grocery store. Acquaintance, like
Right.
that way, I can sort out or filter what I get to see. Anyway, so
Let me ask you a question because I want you to get to your story, but it just made me think of something. I want to know the most obscure friend that you have on Facebook, and let me kind of give you the lead in for that. I was on Gringotts at Universal Studios, and the ride broke down. Lights came up, and I went Facebook Live because that's what I do. And it was really cool. I got a ton of video of Gringotts with the lights on.
Mhm.
This lady next to me is like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Can you send me the videos?" So now we're friends on Facebook. Could have removed each other, but like we actually comment on
Still
each other's
following
thing.
each other's
Like, we're
life.
still following. It's her and her husband's. It's a shared group. They live in like Tennessee. She's got two teenage or early 20 age kids. Super nice lady, and she'll message me every once in a while. And it's like, I don't know. Like we met once. She's like, "But you're so darn funny that I can't stop following you."
That's hilarious. Okay, so I would say that I have a few, and I guess maybe you can pick which one you think is the most obscure. So I was flying somewhere for work, and I sat down at the airport bar, which naturally that's what you do.
Sure.
My flight got delayed, and so did the two people next to me. One was a gentleman, and the other one was a lady. And the lady was very outspoken and very funny. So I immediately, we start vibing off of each other. And she's older. And so she asks, where am I from? And I'm like, oh, I live in Lake Mary, but I grew up in Winter Haven. And she was like, I live in Winter Haven. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And she's like, yeah, I teach school in Winter Haven.
Oh.
And it turns out we know a lot of the same people. She knew my parents. So we became Facebook friends. And then the guy sitting next to us became Facebook friends with us as well. But I think I've interacted with this woman in person one time since then because we bumped into each other at a bar in Winter Haven. But that's it. That's the only way that we know each other is from that. But we continuously support each other from afar on Facebook.
That's awesome.
I think and I have some through business. I have
those are
one
normal.
girl just friend requested me because we have the same last name and she lives in Italy. And so we keep in touch.
Okay.
She just had a baby, so that's cool.
Nice. I've tried it. There's one other Scott Maffei on social media. I've tried to message him and reach out to him. I know I feel like the other Scott Maffei stalker. He's younger than me, but he went to Boston College. He lives in Massachusetts. I've been kind of following him through MySpace, Google, Facebook, and I'm like, he looks like Ross from Friends. That's who he reminds me of. David Schwimmer.
There is another Mary Samaro on
Mhm.
Facebook, and it's my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
It's my
All right.
gram.
So I want to
She's
hear
not
about
very
your.
active.
I want to hear about
Okay,
your
so-
Facebook argument.
Okay, look, here's the thing. And I like to think that I'm very respectful, and I just like tap in like here.
Yeah,
and
no, you
this
are. I've seen your
particular-
arguments.
This particular post compared two things that are not alike.
Okay.
And so I kind of pointed that out, and we kind of went back and forth, and then they switched the topic to something else. Like they kind of like diverted somewhere else. And so, I addressed that, and I don't say things out of opinion. I just state facts. So I was sending facts, numbers, statistics, things
Sure.
that kind of let him know that like the way that this post was made, the wording and the logic behind it is off, is what my point was.
Right.
And this launched an all-out war that I didn't even know was going to happen. And so
yeah.
I posted a cute little video of Zoe and I dancing in our little shirts that we had gotten. It was from TikTok, and it says, there was text on it that said, being a mom to cool kids, and had like cute music. And then the music got really more intense. Really more intense? Is that a real sentence? I don't know. And then it says, being a mom to cool kids with progressive views. And I had like a little LGBTQ flag next to it. I post that, and then he posts this rant, and I mean just all out rant, attacking things that I believe in, that necessarily he doesn't condone or think is morally in line with his viewpoints. And I mean like just all out. And then his friends, obviously, that have the same viewpoints, were just like piling on
Sure.
at this point. Like I have created an army of enemies that I didn't even know existed. But then the catty part of me, I'm looking at his post, and I'm like, I really just want to correct his grammar at this
Oh
point,
God.
just to twist the knife a little bit. But I haven't done that in a while. And I mean, I would say I was like 3 months clean of no Facebook fights. And now look at me. I'm a disaster.
Yeah, during election season last
You
year,
were the
for the
worst.
I was the worst, and got
You were
into so-
belligerent, though.
I would comment on people's things. It exhausted me. I'm
because
so
then
exhausted.
they go in hard, and you have to respond because
Right.
you don't want to like seem like you don't want to like defend your point or.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind.
Sure.
I'm
No,
just
I get
saying-
that.
Hey, if you're posting this,
Yep.
I don't know, maybe back it up with actual statistics and information.
Yeah, there's
I
things
don't
that
know.
I've wanted to post on, but I'm like, you know what? I got my way. Biden won. The Senate got flipped. I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
there's no point. Like right now we are winning. We are winning, and I consider
this
myself
particular-
a liberal Republican, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not. For all intents and purposes, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not changing my political party because I want to have a vote in the primaries to try to put a normal Republican, if there's any of them out there left, into office. We
Oh,
just lost
God.
half of our audience, but
I know. No, this one was more, I would say, like religion based. I'll tell you what the post said. It said guns.
I'll
guns
read it.
don't
I've got
kill-
it. I've got it pulled up right now. If you'd like.
Yeah. It says guns don't kill people. Planned Parenthood kills people.
Oh,
And
that's
I was
not
like,
the one,
well, and so I had to go. That was the original
and
one.
that's
that
not what
started the
Planned.
beef.
We're at like
So-
the end of the show, and you just said something. That is not what Planned Parenthood is. Planned Parenthood
I know,
is
and that was
not
the-
an abortion clinic. Like,
Well, but
do they
I
do
also
stuff?
said
Yes.
my first question was, so are you saying there haven't been any shooting deaths or murders? And he was like, obviously not. He's like, I'm saying that a gun can't kill someone. It takes a person's will. And I was like, well, a building can't kill someone either. It takes someone's will to go in and do it. Your post doesn't make sense. And also, so then I posted only 3% of their services are actual abortions. And then I was like, and it's not even federally funded because of the Hyde Amendment. Like,
Mhm.
do your research. You've got to know these
Right.
things. And also, the only people commenting on this thread were two dudes. Like,
Yeah.
and then it turned into
Again,
like a religious battle that I didn't sign up for, honestly. I don't have any skin in that game.
I
So
don't have these-
the only skin I had in that post was the amount of grammatical errors and spelling errors. It really was painful to read, but
yeah.
here we are. I made it through. I got
Good for you.
my fix. I got my fix, and now I can hopefully not get in any more fights. And I don't want to make anybody mad. I just like having dialogue that's challenging, but not everybody thinks that way, I don't think.
No, look, I get it, and I try. We're trying to stay as a non-political show. I don't really want to. I just don't want to. I don't want to abandon or go that route. But some of this stuff, like when I read the original post, the second post about the Planned Parenthood kills people.
No, that was the first post. The first post was the Planned Parenthood one, and then the one I sent you today, when I was like, oh God, I've started something. That was aftermath of the discussion, because
some of the stuff it just makes me so angry, and it's just ignorance. And anyway, I don't want to go down that road now, especially when we're over on time. But maybe
look at me
we'll
just wrecking stuff.
Well,
it's fine. This is fine.
You're not wrecking anything. No, look, and at some point, I think it would be healthy for us to have a segment every week that is a little bit
controversial,
controversial. But right now we're not at that listener level that I feel comfortable abandoning half the audience.
We don't have many ride or dies at this point.
Right. So, and I don't want to go down that route. I want to stay fun and lighthearted. I think that the Walt's disappointment episode, where we discuss the new wardrobe policies, I thought that was a great conversation. I'd like to have more of those.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole point of this story was just to talk about my Facebook.
I know. But then you said something and it just...
I know. I'm sorry. But it's
fine.
One of those things, though, like you open up the app and you're like 14 notifications. Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
And meanwhile, I just type F for following and the Michael Jackson eating popcorn just so I can
eating
watch.
Popcorn. Yeah. Oh, God.
All right, we are out of time for today. Next week, we're going to go to 3 episodes per week. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I think it's going to be like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type thing, or, maybe Monday, still Tuesday night, still Thursday night. I don't know. I just feel like I want to do more episodes. So listen to them. Make me feel good about myself. This is a lifelong dream. So help a brother out.
Yeah, I mean, he's the ice cream truck guy.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget, you can email us, nonewfriendspodcast@yahoo.com. Please like, share, follow us, subscribe, all that good stuff on Facebook. Whatever your favorite podcast platform is, please follow us on that. You can do auto download, which it'll give you a notification that we've posted a new episode. Follow us and subscribe on our YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast. And then don't forget to vote for us for Orlando Weekly's Best Local Color, Best Local Podcast. We'll be back next week.
Okay, bye.